the big fight of the weekend in the Alamodome, San Antonio, Texas. No sign of Gabe this week, unfortunately. I think he's died of death. Hater Dave as well disappeared. No Donny either. No Americans perspective. They're all lightweights, aren't they, those boys? Rapping Rob Kelly, let's come to you first of all. Gervonta Davis against Leo Santa Cruz. Joe Kennedy threw in a question, which is interesting and something I was going to pick up on as well. He said, anyone else feel that Santa Cruz could be a problem for Davis next week? If he gets into his rhythm, just the volume of his punches alone could cause Tank some issues. I'm going to say, Rob, that initially I also thought of this, but the more I think about it, I don't think that Santa Cruz is going to be able to throw as many shots as he usually does, because every time he does, Davis is going to be coming back at him, hard, fast counters, timing him as best as he can. So if Santa Cruz's output drops, then his chances of winning the fight drop significantly as well. What do you think, Rob?
Well, I thought from what the only good thing, piece of information I got from Floyd Mayweather's interview this week about the Gervonta Davis fight, Floyd not like him to make it about himself. They asked him how the camp go, and he said, "Well, I've made smart investments. Leo Santa Cruz is a hell of a fighter. The thing about Gennady Golovkin, you cannot compare Floyd to Lomachenko. And congratulations to all the young fighters." So about 12 minutes in, he eventually got to the fact that they've had a 12-week camp with Davis for this. So I think he's going to be a pretty good nick. It's funny, this week lockdown kicked back in Ireland, and I was came up in the suggestions. One of our old fucking podcasts from back when Spence was due to fight Brook, and Davis had just not come to the UK and knocked Liam Welsh flying, and you know, it seemed like he was going to be the next big thing at lightweight, and it's just so funny how it's after turning out that Teofimo Lopez has come up, completely eclipsed him. I think Leo, I think you're onto something there. I think Davis is too big for Leo Santa Cruz. I think Cruz will make him look uncomfortable, and Davis will look to bail himself out with his power. But if he's anyway sharp, I think it'll be tough night for Leo Santa Cruz, because he is a great fighter, but had potential to become a great fighter, I should say. But his career since then, blowing up in weight between fights, he's not living the life, smacking up the baby mother or whatever, yanking her up in public, calling her out, moving the wrong way. Eventually, it's going to catch up on him. Is it going to be in this fight? I don't know. I think he's on too much of a KO hot streak, and I think Cruz's inactivity against top tier people is not going to help him. And he's fighting 2 weight classes above his best weight, Leo Santa Cruz. No doubt about it. He moved up a weight, so he didn't have to fight Rigo. Quite open about it, and in it for the money. So I would like to say he does something to Gervonta in this fight, but I can't see that either. I think it would be quite comfortable for Davis.
Yeah, Davis, Aussie, for all of his physique, he's cutting weight, going in between weights and stuff. There's a chance he could be drained, but I don't think it's a factor at his age at the moment. He's probably young enough still to be able to ride that out, and it might be an advantage coming in a bit heavier. I think he can do the weight at the moment just about well enough stamina-wise, and I think he can last the distance well enough. It will start catching up on him eventually, but I don't think he's at that stage yet.
No, I agree. I think he'll knock Santa Cruz out, to be honest, and I think he'll get to him quite early. I like Davis, and at the end of the day, look, with Mayweather, they'll take fights that they want to take, and there's a reason they're taking this fight, because they think not only can they win, but they can do it in pretty fine fashion as well, and that's what I think he'll do. I saw a picture of him, and I thought he looked pretty. I thought he looked pretty good at the weight. I didn't think, I thought he looked decent.
He does, yeah.
What weight is this at? Is this at lightweight? Or is this at super feather?
Super feather.
Super feather, 130, yeah.
Right, so it's at super feather, but then the lightweight title's on the line as well.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah, odd. But anyway, no, I think Davis will get to Santa Cruz, and I think it's a good point that if Santa Cruz can't get his shots off, Davis will ultimately get to him. What I didn't realise as well for Davis, again, opponent-wise wasn't great, but he fought 3 times last year. Yeah, he's not had a fight this year, but not many did, early on. So it's quite interesting that he's, He's, he's coming off the back of 3 fights there when he smashed up Gamboa as well, which was at the back end of last year. But no, this is a great fight, and I'm looking forward to it. I am debating getting up for it. certainly because I think the snooze fest on Saturday night will send me to sleep early. So I don't think it'll be an issue getting up for the Davis Santa Cruz fight.
Oh, you can't sleep next week. We've got a post-fight pod, so you better be awake for it.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I forgot about that. Right,
so I'll get pitched instead.
Then I'll have a couple of coffees.
Lockdown as well. We'll be all having a few jars on a Saturday night as well. It's going to be fireworks. And if there's no fireworks in the fight, there'll be fireworks on the pod for sure.
Fuck's sake. Sorry, the Raiders have just conceded again. But the what's it called? I think
Tom Brady, baby.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Huge. Must have been about 60 yard of that. I think what's it called? I think Davis will stop him, and you can get over evens at that 13-10. Look, Davis is a big puncher. He's fighting a guy, that, as we say, is 2 weights above his natural weight. I think some not there for the taking. That's the wrong turn of phrase. But this is a fight I think Gervonta Davis will look very good in. And again, everybody will start. Everyone will be talking about him for once for the right reasons.
Showtime were fairly pushing this one, Andy. I thought it was the most underwhelming bit of plugging they were doing of the weekend. They said it's a 3-time world champion, Gervonta Davis, against 4-weight world champion Leo Santa Cruz. If ever there was an indication that there's too many belts and being picked up a little bit too easily, it was that little statement.
Yeah, I mean, the whole situation with the belts here actually reminds me of the Sugar Ray Leonard, Danny Leon, super middleweight, light heavyweight belt.
Light heavyweight, yeah.
Yeah, it was just absolute shambles, man. I agree with what Rob was saying in that as well on this fight. I really am warming to Davis a wee bit in that. I watched Showtime's recent documentary. They've done a 30-minute segment. I've only seen the first episode. Floyd Mayweather, man, could he lick himself so hard? See if he could do it. He would suck his own cock, man. He loves himself that much. He's talking about promoting Gervonta Davis and that, right? Rather than just let Davis talk, Floyd's talking about the pay-per-views he sold and being the king and undefeated 50 and all that sort of shit and that. See, when Davis spoke, he was actually quite engaging. He was actually quite, not so much, I wouldn't say intelligent, but quite thoughtful, quite humble to a point. There's that word, shall we say? But he seemed to go back to his roots and stuff at Baltimore, and they're talking about he's meeting some of the old crew and that back in the hood, and they're really pleased for him and stuff. Says, but it was a bit of a problem trying to keep you in the straight and narrow. One thing I did notice for him as well, I think he's really one of the kids that he needs his trainer really dogging him all the time, because he was like, during some of these training drills he was doing, and I know Dominic's seen it in that, but he was really having to be pushed. So I wonder, just like, is it just a wee element to me, just like, thinks about, well, okay, if he can't get him out of there, could he unravel a wee bit? But I think I also agree with Rob, Santa Cruz is way above his best weight here. I mean, what is he going to come in at 130 in that? Okay, but I don't know if there's a catch weight for these two belts. I'm not entirely sure here, but I think Davis potentially could knock him out. Again, it depends how he makes the weight in that as well, because he struggled with Gamboa. That was a struggle to make weight, and that was Gamboa doing his Achilles at the same time. But this fight, he seems to have taken it very seriously. He's dogging it in the gym and stuff. He's been out in Vegas now for the best part of 8 weeks, I believe. Floyd's getting them in there sparring and stuff like heavy sparring sessions. Drills are beyond belief and stuff. So he's getting the best preparation, shall we say, for this fight. Santa Cruz,
he is,
mate.
As great as a fighter he was, he's one of the most unbearable personalities in the sport. The guy said, so you've been in camp with Gervonta and you consider yourself, Floyd, kind of like a big brother to Gervonta. You've helped him train. Floyd's like, no, sorry, excuse me. More like a father figure. Who would say that about themselves, man? Fuck me. Oh, unbelievable.
That's incredible.
He's a father figure to everybody but his own kids.
He slaps the mother about and stuff like that. He's
doing a fine job with the daughter, isn't he? With his sister waving and sister kniving. That one's fucking facing life in the penitentiary. He's a real shithead.
Just on Santa Cruz and that, he's been training at his home and that. So obviously with the virus and stuff. So I don't know what his situation. His dad's been no well again. He's had sepsis and stuff like that. So he's had a real hard time in the last 5 years and that with the cancer. And other illnesses and stuff like that as well. So you just wonder if he's maybe his eyes off the ball and that. The other thing as well is what we need to remember is, and 2020 has been a great reminder for it, and that last week was a great reminder and that as well. The upsets have been happening this year. You know, we've seen fighters coming out the blue, take their opportunities and stuff. Like Maxie Hughes, for example. You never know. He may get a phone call for a world title fight shortly. You never know. He's getting himself up the rankings and stuff. But considering something like Frampton, for example, he didn't look great. Jacobs didn't look great. You know, so you just wonder that as well. As these guys coming off long periods of inactivity, considering what Gervonta Davis has got to go through to try and make weight, will it deliver? Will it shit the bed? We don't know, but I'm suspecting Davis could probably knock him out. But if he's in any way struggling with his weight and stuff like that, and Santa Cruz being naturally smaller, maybe his activity might just win him the fight. We just don't know. I'll not get up for it though. I'll definitely get up early and download it about 7 o'clock or whatever and that. But yeah, I'm going to say Davis. I'll go late stoppage.
Late stoppage for Davis. I'm going for Davis on points. Dominic, Santa Cruz. Pretty straightforward, isn't it? This isn't the Rafael Rivera of the world that he's fighting against here. This is someone who's going to create angles, big power around those angles as well. If he's going to come in straight lines, Santa Cruz, he's going to be picked off.
Yeah, I agree, Steve, with you and Ozzy and Andy. I've since I knew this fight was being made, I thought Davis straight away when I first heard about it. I thought he was going to win, and I still think he's going to win. I mean, the thing about it is Cruz, you know, as you say, Steve, about the volume, you know, the first Frampton fight, when was probably Frampton's best performance, Frampton was able to catch him hard enough to, you know, Cruz still threw a lot of punches in that fight, but they weren't as, you know, he wasn't landing himself as much. You know, Davis he's obviously, I think Davis he's quite a step up from someone like Frampton, and you know, it's very interesting because you were saying there that, you know, Floyd and Davis's people have obviously picked this fight because they're pretty convinced that, you know, Cruz is going to make Davis look very good. But equally, I'm intrigued on the other side of the coin, Steve, about why Cruz and his team, why they've gone for this fight, especially in light of his previous, since the Frampton fight. I mean, if you look at his resume since the Frampton rematch, I mean, and even before the Frampton fights, I mean, apart from Frampton and Admir Marias, I mean, who has Cruz really? I mean, there's a lot of dross on his record. Like this, to me, this is the conundrum is, what have they seen in Davis, or what do they think they've seen to make them, you know, go for the fight? Now, it might obviously be that they think he's gonna money. Yes,
yeah, I think so.
I think it is too, because I mean, I think he's gonna be getting. He's never. The thing about him is, Cruz, he's never really been hurt. I mean, I think he does have good whiskers, even in the Frampton, the first fight. I don't think he was ever seriously hurt in that fight. But he's never been in with anyone, I think, who punches as crisply and as sharply as this guy. I mean, this guy really does. I think Davis really does, and he is. You know, I agree with what Ozzy and I like him too. You know, I'm sort of a feeling of a bit of disappointment in the sense that I don't think we've seen the best of him, and I would love for him to have fought Lomachenko before Lomachenko got beat last week. You know, I would have loved to see that fight. Now, obviously, there's all sorts of other reasons why it wouldn't happen, but, you know, the promote Bob Arm and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, a lot of fighters, you know, are described as being from the streets, but this guy really is. Davis really is from the streets. You know, I think he really is from a rough back. Like he's not had an easy start, shall we say? But you know, it's very. I'll be interested to see it. I think I'm going for like a mid to maybe stoppage around 8 rounds, but I think this. I don't think Cruz is will have been in with anyone that punches as hard as Davis does. And he's a step up from Frampton. You know, he's I think he's, you know, he's Yeah, that time he came over and knocked out Liam Walsh. That was mighty impressive. The other thought that I have on this, Steve, is the guys were saying that, obviously the fight's it's at 130. It's contracted for 130, but there's also that lightweight regular title on the line. But I was just talking about the fight earlier with my brother, and I was saying to him, you think about Davis's struggles with with making the weight and why he moved up the lightweight. So to me, I'll believe the fight's going to be for the 130-pound title when I see Davis making the weight. I wouldn't be surprised if he just comes in over the weight. Now, my brother said back to me, he said, well, given that it's a pay-per-view fight, will there not be more pressure on to make the weight? But I'm just saying I would wait to see that he makes, even though the fight's contracted for super featherweight for 130. I'll wait to see that he's same on the scale.
I don't think so. I think they said he was already 139 last week, so I think he's going to come in on weight.
Have you seen Rob those on the showtimes, the preview shows? He's in all the training clips. He's been in the sweat gear.
I haven't seen him so far. I'm going to catch up with him on lockdown this week. But I'd say as well about Davis. Oh fuck! I forgot what I was going to say. It was a good one though. I'll come back to it. Oh no, you were saying about a few from the streets. I was saying it's an understatement. The night of the Fonseca fight, someone from his neighborhood had one of his relatives kidnapped and was trying to extort him for $100,000 or something. So yeah.
Yeah, he's and I think he can probably. I think he probably takes a punch as well. I mean, I think if you look at the guy's physique, I think the problem with him making weight, he's got one of those very squat, he's got that sort of physique where you can see that it's hard for him to probably make weight. He's very muscular, similar to Fronton in a sense. That sort of
like short and stocky. Uh-huh.
Yeah, short and stocky. But I must say, Steve, this is just a sort of humorous note on this fight. I was reading yesterday, or it's Friday night, Barry McGuigan's column in the Daily Mirror. It's the first time I've read it for a long time, and because I knew he was talking about this fight, even though the fight's it's next weekend, but he was talking about it as if it was going to be this weekend. But he was sort of said, I'll put this forward for Value of the Week, but he said Davis, as good as I think Davis is, Barry said Davis is a combination of Sugar Ray Leonard and Aaron Pryor, the way he throws punches and phases. I was just like, I do rate Davis, but he's not at that sort of level. But it was also funny in that Barry, he sort of said he turned in, he said a few words about Cruz, and he said Leo Santa Cruz with only one defeat in 39 fights, full stop. And he didn't say who the fan that beat him was.
Man of truth is Barry, man of truth.